the sun dipped below the horizon and the last golden rays vanished, I stood before the imposing entrance of the world's most haunted hotel. It looked exactly as one might expect, a weathered facade, streaks of grime from decades of rain, and narrow windows dark as empty eyes. The wind picked up, whispering through the leafless branches that scratched insistently at the walls. With a deep breath, I pushed open the heavy, creaking doors and stepped inside, embracing the cold hush that seemed to swallow all sound. The lobby was frozen in time. Faded wallpaper peeled in intricate patterns. Carpets bore stains too ancient to identify, and the ornate chandelier overhead shuddered with each subtle tremor in the building's bones. Somewhere, a grandfather clock ticked, but the hands on its face spun wildly, never settling on a single minute. As I checked in with the silent clerk, more shadow than human, I felt the weight of countless stories press down upon me, each whispered tragedy lingering in the stagnant air. Room 313 awaited me. The elevator groaned and wheezed as it carried me upward, seeming to climb past floor after floor without ever truly arriving. Just when I began to wonder if I would be trapped forever in its mirrored cage, the doors slid open with a gasp onto a corridor that stretched on and on, lined with endless doors, each numbered 313. My room awaited wherever I turned, the hallway looping back on itself until my own footsteps echoed behind me. Finally, I chose one of the doors at random and slipped inside. The room was musty and cold. The wallpaper bulged as if covering secrets, and the bed sagged in the center. Shadows clung to the far corners, resisting the feeble light from a single lamp. I set my bag down and tried to breathe evenly, reminding myself it was just another night, just another room. But the silence here was never truly silent. It pulsed with memories, with secrets lost in dust and darkness. Hours crawled by as I tried to settle. The sense of being watched prickled the back of my neck. Each time I glanced at the mirror above the chipped vanity, my reflection lagged, a heartbeat behind, movements delayed, catching up in fits and jerks. I blinked hard, but the reflection didn't blink with me. Instead, it offered a wan smile, slow and taunting, and pressed its hand flat against the glass. The air began to hum with a low, persistent sound, like old pipes or bees trapped inside the walls. The floorboards crackled. The voices came next, whispers drifting through the vents and skittering beneath the door, unintelligible and urgent. Sometimes, scraping footsteps sounded in the hallway, hesitating outside my door before prowling off into the distance that never truly had ended. My sense of time began to unravel. At first, the old bedside clock read midnight, but each glance afterward gave a new answer. The hands spun restlessly, sometimes racing forward, sometimes rewinding. At one impossible moment, the numbers flickered and rearranged into shapes unfamiliar and wrong, as if the very concept of time was bleeding away. Sleep was impossible. But as I lay on the bed, drifting between wakefulness and hallucination, the room shuddered and twisted. The wallpaper slithered, and from deep within its seams, faint outlines pushed forward, countless hands pressing against the surface, clawing to escape. My own breath frosted in the air, and with every exhale, figures coalesced beside me, shadowy guests with void-like faces, offering silent invitations to join their eternal company. Eventually, a pale, unearthly dawn crept in, dispelling the phantoms with its feeble light. When I finally emerged from the room and made my way down the endless hallways, the lobby had changed. The clock was shattered, the chairs upended, and the air hung thick with stories unspoken. As I stepped into the world beyond those haunted walls, I carried with me the chill of their secrets, knowing I had survived the night, forever marked by the shadows I had seen and those that had stared back at me